Welcome to the Trek Wars podcast, the one podcast that dares to answer the most important question in fandom, which is better, Star Trek or Star Wars, by going through both franchises in chronological release order. I am Kenny Madison, the Star Trek contingent. With me, as per always, is the co-host with the mo-host.
It's me, Aspen. Correctly, repping Star Wars. It is the best. Wait, are you not?
What?
The look on your face was like, it was a lot.
Sorry, already I was worried about Shape of Show for some reason, even though we were literally 60 seconds in. But we got a lot of show to get to.
There's so many beautiful things.
And the more that I repeat it,
the
less time that we have. Anyways, we have an amazing guest today from the George Lucas talk show, from I'm George Lucas, the documentary. I believe it's pronounced Partic.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Partic.
It's actually Patrick.
Patrick Cotnoir is our guest today.
Hi.
Yay.
How are you both?
Oh, great.
That's great.
Really good. Was just
I'm so happy to be here.
I was doing regular work earlier, and
Yeah.
I kept just like being like, just get through it. You can like do cool stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
That's great. I mean, we're here. We're doing it. We get to talk about 2 episodes.
Yes, speaking of getting through it, Aspen, we are talking about, from Star Wars The Clone Wars, Bombad Jedi from season 1.
A good episode.
It is a good episode.
It's not a good episode. Versus,
Wow.
For the World is Hollow, and I Have Touched the Sky from season 3 of Star Trek The Original Series.
An episode that feels like 12 other episodes on Star Trek, the original series.
You are
100%.
not wrong. That's a running theme that we are hitting here in season 3 of Star Trek, the original series.
It's true.
Yeah.
But at
It's
least in this one, she doesn't die. She
Sure.
doesn't die.
Sure.
And also in this one, not to skip ahead, because we'll go through our thing. I like to see McCoy get some love, because I think that man is hot stuff and he deserves that. So, but you're absolutely right. And thank you so much. You're right, Bombad Jedi, a great episode.
Yeah.
Kendall.
Well,
And look, I think C-3PO is hot and can get some. So
that's true. I agree with that.
Yes.
There's more parallels to these episodes than we think.
Look,
C-3PO and McCoy.
Uh-huh. Not dissimilar characters. Sorry to hop in, but like not dissimilar.
not dissimilar. You are correct. And also, how dare you hop in? We
guys
have you
do.
just really as window dressing. So please try and stay as silent as possible. But
You're here to look pretty, which
Yes.
in an audio medium is
Perfect.
great.
That's the ideal spot to look pretty, because everyone will think you're pretty even if they don't know what you look like, you know?
Speaking of visual items, we've got a piece of business to get to. Let me play some sort of sound effect in order to cue up business.
Accessing library computer
That's
data.
a new one.
Prior to the start of the podcast, Patrick quite rightly noticed my Blu-ray, because I do believe in physical media, of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, the complete season 1 in Digipack. Here we go. Oh my goodness.
So sorry. Took a second to get up there, but we got it. I had to go over and get my Star Wars The Clone Wars season 1 Blu-ray in Digipack.
Interesting that Aspen is the Star Wars contingent, but does not have Star Wars The Clone Wars season 1 on Blu-ray and Digipack, along with this really lovely...
Here's a book I like.
Okay. That's something.
But does it have all of this concept art? Look at all of it.
Does it have a sketch from Dave Filoni that just says Plo Cool?
He loves Plo Cool. Plo Kool and his fave. It doesn't, but this is all about how Hera and Kanan Jarrus fell in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I wish that Filoni
I've
were
never
here.
actually looked through. There is like a book inside, and I've never actually looked through it. But I did just spend over $100 on the Art of the Clone Wars book. So
that's like looking through that.
It's like
book
looking
that's
through that
inside the Clone Wars.
I was bothered that I had every other Art of book except for the Clone Wars one. And it's very out of print. And I know that as soon as I buy it, it's going to come back in print again.
Yes, of
But,
course.
And then I bought it and it got here and it's smaller than all of the other Art of books, and that really sucks because you put it on the shelf and you're like, they don't all look the same. Why did we do this?
It doesn't make any sense. There's so much content.
Yeah.
There's way more content in all of Clone Wars than
I believe the book is only for season 1, maybe season 2.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Because my follow-up question was twofold. One, it doesn't sound like it's the Clone Wars companion, which I want as a completist, and also just as research for this TV show, because it seems like there is very little like actual behind the scenes content where they are actually talking about the process outside of the 5-minute featurettes.
Yeah. Which is a shame. It feels like there should be.
But also, like, they can't say anything for like 20, 25 years, it feels like. Or maybe since the MCU book came out. Maybe like 10 years or so.
Yeah. Well, real quick, sorry, Patrick, are you like a completionist like Kenny is in that both in collection and in consumption?
Yeah, it's a problem.
I dare say that Patrick probably has it a little bit more.
It probably. It is one of the reasons. And look, I'm going to be frank. I'm going to be upfront with you guys. I'm not a Trek guy. I've seen all the original movie, like all of the original cast movies.
Outstanding movies.
Yes. Well, sure. I've seen the JJ movies.
Great
movies. I've seen a good solid chunk of season 1 of the original series. I've seen season 1. Jesus, am I a Trek guy?
I've watched all of Star Trek Voyager. Deep cut, but the animated series you have to love your way into. No. It's very interesting.
And I watched season 1 of Strange New Worlds.
Oh, yes.
And I think that is it.
Oh.
You watch plenty of Star Trek.
You know what you should watch is Lower Decks. Just as an aside.
I know. That is what I've heard. A lot of friends are on that show. I met the creator a couple nights ago. The current showrunner I'm on a trivia team with haven't watched Lower Decks. I'm so sorry, guys.
How could you?
I'm so sorry.
I was like, is he gonna name drop?
Of course. You got to name drop a little bit.
I love it.
It is something that I think I would like. And like a lot of people I know are on it. And it feels like it should be the easy path in for me. And I'm sure I will watch it at some point. But I think Trek as a whole just feels so overwhelming to me in the same way that like Doctor Who does.
Oh,
gosh.
You know, because I didn't start it when I was young, and now it just feels like there's too much.
Yes.
That's correct. A lot of Trek. Yeah. And I guess there's more Star Wars than I ever even knew when it didn't exist when I was young. But I guess to that end there are more. But yeah, in terms of Star Trek, it is a lot. It's a lot.
People just keep telling me, they're like, go watch Next Generation, but skip season 1 and then start with season 3 and whatever. And I'm just like, that's too much. Like, if I'm going to watch it, I need to watch the whole thing. And
because you're a completionist.
Because I'm a completionist. And it's
honestly, if you're looking for the endpoint, Star Trek Lower Decks, as well as being funny, just offers a synthesis of so many touch points of Star Trek that you can seem like a Trek guy without actually being a Trek guy.
I also think I know enough about Star Trek as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could tell you the main actors on basically all the shows, I feel like, or like what their general characters are. Like I know the things, but it's mostly from just like reading Wikipedia at like 3 a.m. You know? It's like that kind of thing.
Prove it, Patrick.
Prove it? What do you want from me?
Prove it.
Spock?
Yeah, you did it.
That's just one character, though. That's just one character.
That's all he needs. That's all he said.
There are multiple characters named Spock. Mm-hmm. Right?
There's Spock.
You got his mom.
Spock.
Yeah. You got his dad.
Well,
he's got a brother.
Spock is not a last name, Patrick. His last name.
But what are his parents' name? What are his parents' name?
Sarah and Amanda.
Oh. Yes, Eric and Amanda is true. We do know this. Okay. I forgot. Yeah.
And then also his brother is and also his sister is Michael Burnham, and then his half brother is Sybok.
And his boyfriend is Kirk.
Okay.
And his enemies to lover is McCoy.
Okay.
So, yeah. Well, so you're obviously a huge Star Wars fan.
Boy. Yeah,
You're
unfortunately.
a Wars boy, which no, it's not.
Unfortunately.
It's not unfortunate. The whole concept of this podcast is that Kenny was like, "You're a Star Wars person, and I'm a Star Trek person."
Yeah.
So I will be always with you.
So Aspen, is there any Star Wars stuff that you have not seen?
Wow,
I haven't
saw
seen
the life leave your eyes for a second.
There's no Resistance. I have not seen Resistance.
Okay.
And I haven't seen any of the Lego stuff.
Okay.
So, but
some of the Lego stuff is very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's worth it then. I don't know.
And important to the story of the meta narrative of Star Wars, right, Patrick? So it would be.
Here's also what I'll say. The Star Wars Lego thing that is coming out in a few months, I think will be very worth your time. The Rebuild the Galaxy with Bobby Moynihan in it.
Oh my goodness.
It's basically a what if for Star Wars.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's gonna frickin' rule. So
okay.
I would say that's a good get on board spot. The holiday special is very fun. A lot of the recent specials are fun. And the Freemaker Adventures, which is a Lego Star Wars TV show, is also very fun. So
fine. Kenny, I think Kenny's doing this look because he was like, Aspen, do you want to do Lego? And I said, no.
I said, what would Patrick Cotnoir do? And I had the spreadsheet prepared to cover everything that has the word Star Wars on it outside of R2-D2 beneath the dome, because that's not canonical. That's sub-canonical.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Well, because that's not furthering the narrative of Star Wars itself. That's the meta-narrative aspect.
I guess that's true. And by the way, I've also already done a podcast about R2-D2 Beneath the Dome, so I don't know if I could do a second one, you know?
Sure.
Here's the thing. We got to get through all of Ewoks and droids.
Yes.
And I just really wanted to get to my Clone Wars, my sweet, gentle, beautiful.
I have not seen any full episodes of Ewoks.
That's okay.
And I've seen a handful of droids. I kind of like droids.
It's pretty rad.
It's weird.
It's
very bizarre.
Weird.
Yeah.
I'm imagining Lucas telling the folks that ran that show, because there's also very little literature about what the heck happened on that show too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But Lucas being like, I think that we can do serialized storytelling 2 or 3 episodes at a time. Completely change the characters every single serial.
Yeah.
And it feels the Star Warsiest of both Ewoks and droids.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bizarre that there's like multiple episodes written by Ben Burtt, and like a lot of the design is Joe Johnston, and then like Paul Dini worked on a lot of it. And you're just like, talk about this show, anybody. Like, someone give me something about this show. Yeah.
What happened?
I know.
Well, yeah.
And especially what it feels like to be like excluded from the larger Star Wars narrative.
Totally.
Even the holiday special is talked about more than Ewoks and droids.
Yeah.
But like for 2-ish years, that was Star Wars.
100%. Right. Yeah.
And there's clear, like, you can tell when creators have watched it because they'll take and borrow concepts or designs from it. Like, you'll see it. And it's really interesting.
Like Kylo Ren.
Do you mean Kybo Ren?
I do mean Kybo.
Kybo.
Yes.
Kybo. God, all those. Yes, all these names. There's like different vehicles and stuff. It's very, very cool.
The droids theme song gets stuck in my head very often. Like for yeah. It's
so
great.
Good.
It's so fun. If people haven't watched it, it's all on Disney Plus. Go check it out. And it like looks pretty good too on Disney Plus.
Oh my gosh, because they did great new scans of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is great.
Yeah.
It's funny because we do it all in chronological order. So, you know, we were going back and forth.
Chronological release order, Aspen.
Chronological release.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Kenny actually knows what's up. I'm just here to be funny. So this laugh is like, oh, okay.
Good job. Great job.
Yeah. No. Chronological release order. So we have to go droids, Ewoks. And Ewoks was pretty good, but it is, as we decided and defined, for babies. So it would be interesting just to watch straight droids. I bet it would have been a little bit easier to get through.
Okay, so you've watched all of Droids and Ewoks for this. Did you do the Jendi Clone Wars?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Did you do the movie? What do you count the movie as?
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
You did the movie.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we did the movie.
Because it's not
We did the Clone Wars
TV,
movie.
so I didn't know what the,
We do all
Oh yeah,
of
we're
it,
covering.
Oh, you're
we're
doing
covering
you're doing everything.
Except for Lego. Sorry, except for
everything
Lego.
outside of like we're not doing the books.
Yeah.
No, but
But I think and here's what I'll say. I think you have time to reconsider that Lego stuff. Because that's not coming for a while.
No, actually, Patrick, it's already started.
Really? Oh, like
Yeah,
the Yoda
because-
Chronicles or whatever?
Revenge of the Brick, which was released in 2005 and
You're
aired
right.
on Cartoon Network, if I'm
Oh
not
my gosh.
mistaken.
You're right.
It's-
Well, there's time.
wild.
You could switch it up. No one will get
Okay.
mad at you, I think.
Let
Yeah,
me
no,
see,
no.
let
No,
me see
no,
the
no.
sheet.
No, it's
There's the
gonna-
sheet. Okay, yeah, aired on Cartoon Network on May 8th, 2005. And
Wow.
then in
We're in 2008.
August 27th, 2005, another Lego piece, Lego Star Wars The Quest for R2-D2.
Oh, I forgot. Revenge of the Brick looks insane.
I'm so
right?
sorry.
Did we,
Revenge-
did we
because
have you
they-
on for like the wrong episode? Should we have just brought you on to talk about
If
the
you
Lego Star
ever
Wars?
do if you do Lego Star Wars, I will come back for as many as you want.
Just
There we
that.
go.
But Aspen, I need you to Google Revenge of the Brick just to look at the
Right
character
now.
design.
Revenge.
Because it
of
may
the
change. It may
Brick.
change. Also, according to Wikipedia, Mark Hamill was involved in the creation of this project and narrates a making of feature on the website. On Wikipedia, he is listed as a director.
That's wild.
I've never
Oh.
heard that before.
No.
Oh.
We should get him on the pod to talk about it.
I bet he'd love it. I'd love it. He'd love it.
We
He'd
understand that
come.
you have some association with Star Wars. Can you talk about your directorial efforts?
Yeah.
It
like,
just looks
tangential.
insane. The design is crazy.
Yeah. I do like this
Um,
Grievous design. We love a Grievous.
We love
Oh,
Grievous.
God, I love Grievous. Yes,
Yeah.
we love Grievous.
We love Grievous.
Yes.
We're not here to talk about General Grievous,
Oh, we should be.
our favorite bad boy.
He's
No,
fine.
we're here to talk about For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky versus a
Right.
cool, chill episode, Bombad Jedi, which I'm sure
Yes,
whenever
cool.
it came out, the reaction was chill.
Yeah. Do you wanna do some descriptions so people
Yes,
know
for
what the heck
folks
we're
that are
talking
playing the
about?
home game.
Yeah.
What?
What? It's fine.
For folks that are playing the home
can
game
use that
version
phrase.
of Trek
Go on.
Wars,
Go on.
Stephen H. Shore, for his syndicated TV Key preview column from November 8th, 1968, as carried in the Valley Independent in Monessen, Pennsylvania. He wrote, DeForest Kelley gets his biggest role to date on Star Trek, and he does very well with it. As Dr. McCoy, he finds himself suffering from a rare disease, which he diagnoses as incurable, giving himself a year to live. As fate would have it, the Enterprise finds a planet whose destruction is assured by being on a collision course with another planet. The world is ruled by a queen who does not permit her subjects to know the truth. When she meets Dr. McCoy, she chooses him to be her mate. The Doctor, knowing his own condition, allows himself to become enslaved by the lady and by their electronic oracle. Kate Woodville is featured.
I feel like that's not exactly a good. That's a weird sort of characterization of her as a high priestess who was also fooled and tricked and he's not enslaved.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caddy.
Aspen, there's no weird power dynamics in the episode. The writer is Rick Vollarts. The director is Tony Leader on his only Star Trek episode, and this episode aired November 8th, 1968.
Okay. Cool. Okay, it's my turn. We're going to do Star Wars Clone Wars Bombad Jedi. First of a
Hell yeah.
three-parter. A great little arc of joy. We got director Jesse Yes. YEH. And writing credits is Stephen Melching, Henry Gilroy, and Kevin Rubio. And came out November 21st, 2008. Okay. Padme travels to Rhodia to meet with old family friend Onaconda Farr about the lack of food rations.
I'm so sorry.
There's a background.
Is there a cat back there?
No, I think it's someone upstairs. Oh, is it gone?
No
There's
way.
someone- I think there's someone upstairs vacuuming. I'll start over. Padme travels to Rhodia to meet with old family friend Onaconda Farr about the lack of food rations. Unfortunately, Farr has just made a deal with the Separatists. Padme is imprisoned, leaving it up to Jar Jar Binks and C-3PO to rescue her. Yay! A great episode. It's got Padme being redeemed as a character. It's got frankly Jar Jar being redeemed as a character.
It's got frankly Nuke Gunray speaking slightly more normal than he normally does.
Much better times.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dicey race stuff, and I'm glad that us three white people will be able to talk about it today.
I think we'll be able to. I think that we will. We are the experts on that.
Aspen, you put a little bit of stank on the name Kevin Rubio. Now, why did you put a little bit of extra stank on Kevin Rubio?
I didn't, but I'll go along with this. I did. Totally. I was like, oh, God, Kevin Rubio.
Do you know who Kevin Rubio is, Aspen?
Oh, no.
Aspen, do you know who Kevin Rubio is?
Yeah.
Well, don't look it up. Let us tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me
This is an audio podcast, not a visual podcast.
No one will know. That's the whole point. They can't see it.
Kevin,
but they can see it if they subscribe to the YouTube feed at Trek Wars Pod. Go to the notes section below.
Okay, tell me who Kevin Rubio is.
Kenny, do you want to tell her or do you want me to tell?
Heck no, Patrick. It's
Kevin,
your job to talk about
true.
Star Wars.
Kevin Rubio directed the fan film Troops, which is a cops parody. Except it takes place on Tatooine. It's one of the first fan films that made its way around in the modern era. It was early to mid 90s, I want to say 95 maybe. Yeah. It's very funny. It's about sand troopers on Tatooine, arresting Jawas and stuff. It's very good. And he did that and then got hired to write on Clone Wars.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why in the world would I ever put a stank on that name?
I don't know.
I don't know. It just sounded like you put a stank on it. I'm so sorry.
I was actually really worried that Kevin Rubio had apparently done some terrible thing in the past few months.
He also wrote Tag and Bink. Do you know about Tag and Bink?
Tag? Okay. Wait, as in the film Tag?
No.
Or is it Tag and Bink? Okay.
The Star Wars comic Tag and Bink.
Oh, no. I haven't read any of the comics.
Aspen.
Okay, listen. I like these things.
Yes. So
Go on.
Tag and Bink is basically Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, basically. But except guys in the Star Wars universe, seeing everything happen. They're two hapless stormtroopers, oh no, we're on the Death Star, and why are they swinging across the they see every single thing throughout the whole saga. It's fun. It's silly. It's very dumb. Tag and Bink were gonna be in Solo in the original, the Lord and Miller Solo, as a cameo, and then they got cut out.
Solo, notoriously chill production.
Yeah, very easy, very normal.
Everything was normal about that.
Yeah.
Let me try again. Writing credits: Stephen Melching, Henry Gilroy, Kevin Rubio.
Oh, wait, who's Kevin Rubio?
Oh, so Kevin Rubio made this fan film called Troops back in 94, 95. And he also made this other great Tag and Binks thing. I don't know if you know about this, but beautiful stuff. Brilliant. Loved it. Big fan.
I thought he wrote a lot of Clone Wars when in fact this is his singular episode of Clone Wars.
Fascinating.
In my brain, he wrote a bunch.
Yeah, because I want the story to be fan film guy turned Star Wars guy. Yeah. No, just the one episode.
Do we know why?
Done. Because this episode's not good. That's why he got fired. George Lucas brought him in and was like, "You're fired."
Oh boy!
Wow.
Oh, boy.
We're not having a good time.
We're having a great time. Look at this. It's jovial. We've got DVDs.
I'm taking off my
Roddenberry vault. Enter the vault.
Cool. So how about some first impressions?
I'm sorry. There's one more thing. If you go to his Instagram, it's 3 selfies up top that look like they were taken in the same day. 2 of the photos are exactly the same.
Wait.
Gotta go to Kevin Rubio's.
Well, yeah, in this
the Kevin Rubio.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. It's just this is perfect for an audio medium.
It's fine.
People can check it out.
This is your
Kevin
time
Rubio
to go.
Wave. Okay. Now we're talking.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. The Kevin Rubio. Oh yeah. Look at him. Well,
Okay,
okay.
I'm on a different Instagram page.
He's
Okay.
alive. Oh. Oh. Looks like he wasn't doing
not
well.
only were they taken on the same day, two of these are actually just the same.
Oh, that's true.
To all out there, I'm alive, just not very talkative. That's 4 weeks ago.
Oh. Looks like
And then
happened.
20 weeks ago.
Looks like he's going through some health stuff.
Gone through some health stuff. It looks like he is someone who supports women.
Sure.
It looks like he's a secret Swiftie.
Someone who supports the Wolfman.
Yeah.
There's a photo of the Wolfman in here.
He's Trump.
He's posted Taylor Swift Person of the Year from Time and said they got it right.
Yeah.
He posted that dumb AI generated the Muppets in the Thing picture that was going around online for a while.
Yep.
So can't win them all, I guess. But
we feel okay about AI, right?
Yeah, we love it.
Chill.
It's chill and normal.
Generally
chill and normal.
I was just for my job making a self-paced course on AI.
Oh, great.
But for like not good, ill. We don't like it. I don't know. Don't tell anybody.
Aspen,
what?
This is a podcast. You just told everyone.
Don't tell anybody.
Speaking of telling everyone, our first impressions on both of these episodes. Let's talk about For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky first, and then we'll talk about Bombad Jedi.
Of course, you want to talk about that one first.
Well, yeah, because shape of show. I don't know if you noticed this.
It's not because you love it and you want to kiss it.
I think this is the greatest episode of Star Trek that's ever happened. Period.
Can I ask a real question? What do you think the greatest episode of Star Trek that ever happened, period, is?
The Visitor from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, it would be from Deep Space Nine.
An episode that
100%.
reduces Star Trek. I have such a close relationship with Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's very hard to kind of get extremely moved by it. But The Visitor reduces me to tears.
Oh, Tony Todd. We love Tony Todd.
Mine would be City on the Edge of Forever from original series. An episode I gave a full ass 10.
Wow.
It makes me sob. But yeah, anything else? I don't know. It's been
in terms of original series, what do I think the best episode is?
DS9 is truly one of the best series of anything I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
DS9 is so good.
Oh, you know what's great?
So
you know what's great from the original series?
Yeah.
Freaking Balance of Terror, my guy. Woo.
Good.
Balance of Terror, but I also have Mirror Mirror as a 9.5.
Mirror Mirror. That's the famous.
I've seen
famous.
Mirror.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about those great ones. We're talking about this milquetoast episode of Star Trek. For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. What do we think about this episode, gang? Were they making an episode because they had to fill the slot on NBC?
Were they just making an app just to make an app?
Yeah.
Probably. But, were they making it up so that it could give McCoy some time to shine? I don't hate it for that.
Yeah.
I love that man.
DeForest Kelley gets some different things to do in this episode and flexes very much. He's just the acerbic wit, or just generally acerbic within the triumvirate. And this time you get to see him play sincere. You get to see him play a little bit raw.
Yeah. He's vulnerable.
What was wild about that performance is that I was like, this is almost childlike in terms of the sincerity that was involved. He is just, it's really delightful to watch DeForest flex some different acting muscles.
And at the end, he's so excited that they're going to go back there.
Yeah. He has that cute little moment where he's just like, his little cute face,
his little horny smile.
He's just like, well, we're gonna have a mint julep and have a good time. What a dude! I looked it up, but I didn't find anything. Is the name of this a reference to anything in particular?
No, not that I'm aware of.
It's wildly long name and hard one to remember.
It's just the writer, and I guess the director, all of them are just very proud of this line of dialogue.
Yeah.
That feels so ham-fisted to be the title line, or at least within the context of the episode.
Yeah. Because most original series titles are like 3 words max, I feel like. right? Or in that general realm of like not 12 words.
But then every once in a while we get and the children shall lead. The city on the edge of forever.
Sure.
I'm sure that there's some long ones that I'm forgetting because there's a lot of episodes of Star Trek.
We just had one, but I think it was like a Shakespearean thing, so I'll forgive it for that. But
the Conscience of the King from the first season. And the children shall. I guess I could technically look at the spreadsheet.
We could look. But
I
no,
can't get away from the spreadsheet.
It is wild. As someone who is bad at remembering names of anything, I'll just be like, and the world was fast and poked it.
You think that's what the episode should have been called, for the world is fast?
The world is fast and I poked it.
I think you actually said, what I heard was, and the world is fast and post it. That was what I heard. So
I really do like that too. I like that more.
I think either one is fun.
And the world is fast and posted.
Yeah.
Now, Patrick, as our guest and self-professed, not really a Star Trek guy.
Yeah.
Honest opinions.
Yeah.
About this episode, as someone who, if Star Trek was on fire on the sidewalk and you're walking past it, you would not pee to put the fire out.
Do I have to pee?
Yeah. Oh, you have to pee very badly.
I have to pee very well. Then I would at least put some of it out. You know, sure. I don't know if I would pee to put all of it out, but I understand what you're saying.
But then you would be like, I've got to get somewhere.
Sure. Yes. You can put the rest of it out. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I got the process started. I got a party to get to.
Yes.
It's a very important party.
I think. Yes, it's a Star Wars party. I think my opinion on it is that when in my brain, when I think of the original series, this is the episode I think of.
That's a great call.
Do you know what I mean? Where I'm just like,
I know exactly what you mean.
That's pretty much what they all are, you know, at least from my limited viewing of them. Where I'm like, they land somewhere, people are weird, and then one of them kisses somebody and they leave. Like, that's pretty much how you sum up a lot of those episodes. It wasn't bad by any means, but it did not change my life, and it did not make me want to watch more of them afterwards. You know?
How much original series have you seen?
I've seen a handful of season 1 because I have the Blu-ray for season 1 because I believe during lockdown I was like, I'm going to watch this. Now's the time. Paramount Plus isn't out yet. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Or maybe it was out, but whatever. And
it was.
I might not be. Later.
Yeah.
No, it was. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I got through maybe disc 1. I watched like 4 to 5. And then I've seen some of the big ones throughout.
And you saw the films. That's right.
And I've seen the films. Yeah. And I've caught stuff on TV and whatever, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. It's interesting that you've seen just a handful of episodes and still clocked this as a clear amalgamation of a billion different episodes.
Yeah,
because that's where we are in the production, because really NBC is like, we have to bring the show back because we've gotten more fan mail than we've ever gotten, but we hate Gene Roddenberry.
Sure.
And so we're going to bring it back the least amount that we can.
Yeah.
And so they are really just on the backs of the production team. Gene Roddenberry's basically checked out by this point. And there are new showrunners that are like, we kind of get what Star Trek is, but really we want to play good politics with the network and just get this stuff done. And so some of this stuff has been commissioned. This is one of the new guys that have been commissioned, and they're trying to figure out Star Trek. And this is what you get.
So my question for you, Kenny.
Me?
Kenny.
Yes,
yeah, for
this
Kenny.
is for
I
Kenny.
get a question?
Yes.
I gotta go.
By the time this season ends, are you personally, do you understand why they canceled the show?
Oh, yeah.
Both from a creative standpoint and from a production standpoint. Like, creatively, are you like, yeah, I would have canceled this too?
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know what your TOS feelings are, you know?
You've seen the movies.
Yes.
Those movies are way better than what Star Trek deserved.
Sure.
Aww.
Star Trek 2 is, I I adore Star Trek. And also
Yeah.
Star Trek 2 is an honest to God masterpiece of science
So
fiction
Sure,
entertainment that is also a pontification on aging. It is a subversion of just heroic tropes
Yeah.
and treats the Star Trek canon emotionally seriously without
Mhm.
being like completely grimdark.
Yeah.
Because even though there's some
Questions the-
dark stuff, it's fun and jovial.
Sure.
questions the authoritarian policies of Starfleet.
Yeah.
The approach, interesting, complex stuff.
Yeah.
But
But Patrick's devastating take that this feels like all Star Trek episodes is kind of right.
Okay.
Especially
Great.
with season 3.
yeah.
In the episode that we just last recorded, there's a whole bunch of tropes that these episodes have already been, like the tropes that are featured in this episode, they've already kind of been dealt with. The original idea here is that it's a world ship.
Yeah.
That's kind of new. I'll go to These Are the Voyages TOS Season 3 from Mark Cushman and Susan Osborne, my reference text. Here we go. It was now McCoy's turn to die, not only for romance, but to almost die. Our almost dying lead characters list has quite a history. Spock almost died in the Apple in a private little war. Kirk in the Tholian Web. Scotty did die in the Changeling. Chekhov, Inspector of the Gun, which is this season. Kirk in Amok Time returned to tomorrow in the Enterprise incident. And McCoy died once before too in Shore Leave. And then not only that, we are recycling effects from the Paradise Syndrome. It's the exact same asteroid. Both of them featured prominently. And then Spock showed unexpected but understandable compassion for McCoy once before, very recently in the Empath, an episode that we will cover, Aspen. So
Yeah.
we're recycling tropes.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask a nerdy question?
What if we just said no?
What?
What if we were just like,
So they
watch your
said
tongue?
they said they recycled the asteroid,
Yeah.
from another episode. When they redid the graphics for the Blu-ray, did they change that special effect, or is it still the same one?
Excellent question.
Thank you so much.
I have no. Good on you for knowing that there's a remastered
I
version
know my
of Star
stuff.
Trek.
I know my stuff.
You do.
Even if I don't
You do
care
know
about it, I know my stuff.
Like it's
Because
required.
it's fun to know like the metatextual stuff and
Yes.
the meta narratives about Star Trek because
Yeah.
it's fascinating. And Gene Roddenberry is many things. One of the great things about him is that he's a hell of a marketer. He's a real
Yeah.
P.T. Barnum in the way that George Lucas is the same kind of mythologizer. So too was Gene Roddenberry, if not just a little bit more so, because George Lucas was making the circuit of colleges giving speeches in order to pay the bills. Gene
Yeah.
Roddenberry certainly was. For
Yeah.
the world is hollow.
I'm just very happy that I clocked that my feeling was valid, of like, oh, this is the same thing. I'm happy that you guys didn't go, no, this one is so different from it. Like, truly, I was very nervous that was going to be the outcome of this.
No.
There's literally an episode that happens this season,
Mhm.
and Kenny's going to know it off the top of his head, but it's effectively the same thing, except with a weird bastardization of indigenous people's traditions, which is
The Paradise Syndrome. Yeah.
Oh, you said that. You said it's Paradise Syndrome. I
Yeah.
forgot it's that. I mean, it
And
is
they
literally
literally use the
Yeah.
same asteroid.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. But
Crazy.
not only do they use the same asteroid, it is the same concept.
So interesting.
Like it is ultimately, it's like Kirk ends up falling in love with this priestess.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same kind of thing. It's a computer piece, but in that one, she dies. He also like loses his memory. It's a whole
Sure,
thing.
of course.
But very similar vibes.
To answer your question, the asteroid was also redone. Now a design vastly different from that scene in
There
the
you
other
go.
episode. Thank you, Memory Alpha.
Thank you, Memory Alpha.
Also, Kenny, what's that wild one where it was like there's all all the men were on the top, like on the surface of the planet, all the women were below.
Oh my
Because it's
gosh.
also like
Spock's
this.
brain.
Spock's brain. Oh God.
What a title, too.
Fucking hated that. But I think I just like black holed it.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Third season is notoriously rough,
Yeah.
even among Star Trek fans.
Yes.
Also, a lot of cast is not in this episode.
That's also the thing, Patrick.
Yeah.
I think the common conception is that it's
Yeah.
kind of, you have your Sulus, your Chekhovs,
Sure.
your Uhoras. Nah, dude. No, it's
Yeah.
always Kirk, Spock, and McCoy being able to go down on the planet. It's not
So
an ensemble
interesting.
show, which is
Yeah.
why Next Generation deciding to be like, no, it's not about Picard. It's an ensemble show.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Genius.
Huh.
Yeah. I think it speaks to the fact that you can feel a sort of staleness to the thing.
Sure.
And like it just, not to just like slag it off so profoundly,
No.
but at this point it is kind of interesting to have, like, I will say, going through this, I've realized how much more I like Star Trek. And it's still like a what are we doing kind of time
Oh,
with
interesting.
this.
I guess that's
so-
good though. That's good that you've realized you liked it.
Oh yeah, and I used to watch Star Trek TOS with friends. I kind of, we'd always get around, but it would always be those select episodes that
Sure.
were just like the killer episodes.
Sure. Yeah.
City on the Edge of Forever,
Yeah.
all these mostly season 1 or touch of season 2. So
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever watched any season 3 before we started talking about it, and
Well, good news. You have so many more to go.
Oh boy, thanks, bro.
I'm really excited for Aspen to get to
Thanks,
the animated series too.
And then we're doing the animated series.
Amazing.
Yep.
How many do you have a spreadsheet of every single Star Trek episode and every single Star Wars episode? Like
Yes.
number wise,
Yes.
where do we land?
Yes.
When we started
Stand by.
this, I did the math and I was like, if we continued this, like we'd be doing this for 16 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it has to be so many more Star Trek, right?
I
has
need
to
to
be.
up. I need to up.
there's so much.
Drastically. Although,
Drastically.
if we. Oh
Yeah.
boy, yeah, I gotta work on the spreadsheet. Here we go. I can't tell you with the shorts and the Legos. But if we're not covering
For when you
Legos
come
and
back.
shorts, which I'm so mad at Aspen,
Yeah, I think that might change, Aspen. I think you're gonna have to fix
And
that.
I still have to
Okay.
update things and include things because I've got a day job. But
Yeah.
right now,
Me too.
as the spreadsheet stands, not including new episodes of Prodigy and not including new episodes of The Acolyte
Yeah.
and other Star Wars things, it's 903 versus 470. 903 Star Trek, 470 Star Wars.
470 is a lot though. That's like more than I thought it would be.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
Interesting.
we are required to stay friends for a long time.
Uh-huh.
This is
Yes.
actually Kitty's
You
plan.
thought that you moved away from Austin and we're going to make a clean break. No, I have my tendrils sunk into you.
Do it. Yeah. So okay.
Also, it's way more fun to just be like critical about the stuff that we love because
Yeah, of course.
it's also interesting to, you could speak to this. It's part of the wild show /
Yeah.
experiment that is the George Lucas talk show.
Yeah.
And talking about the vanity that is involved with just both of these properties.
Yeah.
Roddenberry being a showman and Lucas being extremely quiet, theoretically, but also being a showman in terms of how he's mythologizing his own narrative.
Yeah, Patrick, how would you say your own showmanship and your own desire for fame reflects what you see in these?
Yeah. Do you see yourself in this episode of Star Trek?
Sounds like what Kenny
Oh,
was
do I
saying.
see myself in this episode of Star Trek? Great question. I'm going to skip over Aspen's part of the question. And do I see myself? No, I don't think so. Maybe in Bombad Jedi a little bit. I like to think I'm like that big slug boy, popping in to save the day. We'll
that
save
slug
it.
boy.
I don't need to talk about him yet, but we're gonna, Kenny. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna because I feel like we're just about to pop over to Bombad Jedi, but I gotta drop.
Yeah, we are.
I gotta drop this piece of information that is going to infuriate Aspen.
Okay.
Because I love to make Aspen mad. Here we go. You want to grab onto something, Aspen?
Yourself, I guess.
Here we go. Once again, going back to the text that is These Are the Voyages, TOS Season 3 from Mark Cushman and Susan Osborne. Fred Freiberger, recall Fred Freiberger, again, being the showrunner of Star Trek, the original series, Season 3.
Cool.
I received a visit from the head of network research, and he said to me he was there to, quote unquote, help me, that he had done a lot of research. And I said, Well, how do you help me boost the ratings? I'm sure he said that very tiredly and was like, I don't want to work on Star Trek. This is the hardest show that anyone has ever made. The network person said, and he said the only way he could see to do it was to broaden our base of women viewers. We had some very loyal women viewers, but the great majority of women, according to his research, were terrified of the thought of space. They needed parameters. In other words, in ordinary, regular, everyday TV, if you're going to do a story about a woman, Aspen, grab onto something. Don't do it on a mountaintop. Do it in a valley. The only thing I would hope to do different would be to do more love stories.
What?
Huh. Then Roddenberry had already set this change in motion. Ilana Troyes had been a love story, episode that we'll get to, as was the Paradise Syndrome. Supervising producer found Is There in Truth No Beauty, which was a relationship story. Other themes that women could easily identify with were found in And the Children Shall Lead, involving children in danger. With scripts by Dorothy Fontana, Margaret Armand, Jean-Lizette Arrest, Joyce Muscat, and Judy Burns, Star Trek was now using more women on a creative level in the mood of those episodes. Freiberger felt was certainly in line with what the theoretical average woman wanted to see on television. Aspen, you feel chill and normal about that?
I literally, the thoughts that are coming up are like, what were the variables and the way that they collected the information? Like, I'm just curious from a perspective of how they did the surveying. Like, did they bring in a focus group? And it was just like people they found at their local church.
They asked their husbands, Aspen.
Yeah, right. They asked their husbands what their wives thought about Star Trek in space as a concept.
Well, my wife is scared of mountains.
Loves valleys. What? And what's wild is it sounds so much like when they talk about, I just saw a TikTok that was all about like, oh, more women are into Star Wars now because of the Acolyte, because of Manny Jacinto. And I'm like, one, Manny Jacinto is just a little hottie, a little wet boy. So I understand people, who are into men or even aren't into Manny Jacinto. Sure. And at the same time, there have always been women and femme people who are Star Wars fans all along. They're all going to see these films. Women go to see superhero films. Women love horror films. Turns out that women, humans, that like things have varied interests. So I'm assuming that in 1968, it was the same.
Sure.
And also, I love a love story too. So I love it when McCoy gets to kiss. But that's not why I'm here.
That's not why you're here.
No,
I'm here because Kenny made me watch this episode.
That makes sense. That makes so much more sense.
That's true. Well, this isn't the only episode that I forced you to watch.
No,
I just Googled, I live near Bronson Canyon in LA. This is not me. I guess kind of doxing myself. And I was like, I feel like they shot some Star Trek there. And there's almost an entire Wikipedia page on all of the Star Trek that was shot in this canyon.
Literally just told my partner the other day, I was like, we have to go to Bronson Caves. They've shot so much shit there. And it's down. Like, we can hop right over to it.
It's the Bat Cave from Adam West. But it's also the cave from the end of Army of Darkness, which is what I'm excited about. And then it's like so much Star Trek too, which is crazy.
The caves are closed.
Star Wars fans are freaks, to be sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Star
you
Wars
so
fans
much.
are freaks.
Yeah. I don't know where this is going. But okay.
But Star Trek fans are such freaks where they are just like, here's the address of everywhere that they shot.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I'm going to build a replica bridge. There are there are 3 replica TOS bridges within the United States.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
3. Not one. Not one. There are 3 replica bridges that you can just go to. Star Trek fans. And then not only that, there's the full set recreation up in Fort Ticonderoga.
Yes.
Freaks. Star Trek fans are freaks.
I appreciate you saying
that down at the footnotes.
Can you make that the episode title?
Star Trek fans are freaks.
I think that'll be good. SEO.
Also, while we're talking about it, Vasquez Rocks also famous location. I did go out there and dress in Star Trek costume and did a little photo shoot.
Amazing.
I might be a Star Wars person, but I am a Star Trek freak.
Yeah, you're a freak. That's okay. We'll just make sure we say it.
Just, we'll just embrace who we are.
Well, Star Wars fans are a different kind of freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mean.
Oh God.
Yeah. Star Trek fans can be mean.
Yes.
But I feel like it's built into the material just a little bit more of liberalism, some sort of liberalism, even though it is still a power fantasy that is glorifying a military thing. It's the weird paradox of being a Trekkie.
Now that we've said that, sounds like we got to get to the real good shit, which is our Bombad Jedi feelings. Just been like sitting here waiting,
trying to get through it.
Just like Star Trek. And Kenny's like, shape it,
my Bombad Jedi notes.
I hope it's just a blank page. I hope you're just like, I have no notes.
It just says racism on it in big letters. Okay, while he's doing that, while he's looking at it, Patrick, tell us your feelings. Tell us what are you doing? How are you feeling about this?
About Bombad Jedi specifically?
Yes, about Bombad Jedi specifically.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a big Phantom Menace boy, so I think I like this episode for that reason. I do think this show does a good job with Jar Jar, especially in the Ahmed episodes of Jar Jar versus the BJ Hughes episodes of Jar Jar. I think having Ahmed there helps improve that character a lot.
There's two different Jar Jars? Why would they not bring Ahmed Best back?
He didn't want to do it all the time.
That makes sense.
So there's someone credited as BJ Hughes, which I think is public knowledge at this point that it was Phil Lamar, and he does a totally admirable job, trying to do it. But it's not Ahmed, and it's definitely different. And I love Phil Lamar, but you're definitely like, well, this isn't Jar Jar, this is another Gungan. Like that's sort of my feelings on those episodes. But I do wish there were more Jar Jar Clone Wars episodes because big fan. I don't know. I think it's fun. I watched it last night with my girlfriend who had never seen this, and she's only recently watched a few Clone Wars episodes.
Who?
You have a girlfriend? No.
Oh, wow. Oh, interesting.
Who did you watch it with?
My girlfriend.
Kenny is a terror. He's a terror about when people
is this a recurring
partner?
This is a recurring thing.
Well, also only within the last. Yeah, don't you have a girlfriend, Kenny?
I have a girlfriend. That's true. Yes, absolutely.
Kenny just wants people to be happy.
I get it, and that's great. That's great. Thank you. You also want people to be happy.
I also want people to be happy.
That's good.
So, like what specifically, Aspen? Like, what people would you want to be happy? Like, maybe like that live with you. Like any person that lives with you, that
like my partner Joel.
There we go, all three. We got all three. There we go.
Perfect. This isn't on my best episode.
Yes.
And you were watching it with your girlfriend.
Yeah, well, we were watching it, and she's only seen a couple. The first ones she watched were the Savage Finding Darth Maul episodes, which is like such a crazy way to like get introduced to this show. But I think I was watching it for some reason, and she just sat down and was like, what's happening right now? But it was interesting watching this one because I was like, oh, it looks so much worse than the later seasons do.
Yes.
Yeah, that is
which
true.
Is fascinating.
It is wild.
I mean, it's got the stylistic thing, so it's like it's got its own thing, but like it's just interesting watching the animation evolve over those years and like get so much more detailed and so much richer and nicer and prettier and stuff, but that was my big takeaway watching this last night was like, oh, it's kind of ugly, at this point.
It is wild also going from seeing that season 7 that came out and how it is genuinely beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it's so fluid, those fights.
Yeah.
Not to spoil it, Kenny, but like the Ahsoka Maul fights and then to kind of come back to what?
Oops.
I said not to spoil it.
Oops.
You're supposed to cover your ear.
I can't. I gotta listen.
How much of this show have you seen?
None of the Clone Wars.
Wars.
Oh, this is going through it.
Well, yes. That's not true. I had watched. I owned the movie on Blu-ray because whenever I'm doing like a complete rewatch.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've got to have the Clone Wars Blu-ray because it was in theaters. It counts.
Yeah.
And then I'd watched a couple of the episodes, but every time I was just like, this is bad.
Okay, so
this is really hard to watch.
Can I give you my Clone Wars philosophy take, whatever?
What if I just said no? No, I don't want
It is very kind of you to keep asking.
I just want to make sure.
No, yeah. We want to hear everything you say.
A good chunk of it is not great. Especially early on. Especially the first like 2 to 3 seasons. You could probably skip half the episodes and you would not lose that much. I do think there's a lot of weird episodes in those seasons that I think are cool and fun and like interesting, But I think if you push through those seasons, which great news, you got to for this, you get to some really good stuff, and that's exciting. By the end, it's pretty much all killer, no filler.
I'm excited because I watched all of Rebels and I was like, cool, this is great.
Yeah.
Rebels is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Clone Wars is that they'll just do an episode about frickin' Evan Peel, like the other little guy from the Jedi Council. And you're just like, great. I didn't know we'd get a story about this guy. And I wish they would go back to that. I really like the Tales from the whatever shows. And I would love more of those. I'm like, give us a 20 episode season of that where you're just like, here's this guy's deal. Here's this guy's deal. I don't need another like full story show. It would be totally fine with me if we just did anthology stuff from here on out, which I don't know if they're going to do, but I would love it.
Mandalorian got close to that kind of style by having self-contained episodes, but then it got involved with the mythology, and I think that really hurt it. And also, I think they're probably listening to criticisms of being like, this feels like a side quest.
Yeah.
Okay,
as opposed to, I'm over here being like, this was TV.
Yeah.
There's 9 seasons of MacGyver.
Yeah.
And they're all just about like how he's going to get out of this pickle.
Yeah.
Well, but you can even go back to, I guess, what would be the mythology of it.
Aspen, did you like my MacGyver reference?
Yeah, no, I like that you screamed. No, you're funny. You did it. Nothing. You can still revisit. I think you can still kind of come back to people like it was really rad to like be like, what did happen to Yaddle?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it feels a touch masturbatory. Like, why is his name Han Solo? Because he doesn't have any people. Whatever.
Yes.
But the idea of let's actually explore a Yaddle kind of storyline of where she is, interesting stuff.
Interesting.
It doesn't have to. It can be. It's tangentially related, but really, it's about this person or this character that is interesting and we give a shit about, We could always pop into those. I'm totally with you.
Some of my favorite, I go in and out on the books. I don't read all the books, but some of the books that I really like are the From a Certain Point of View books. And I'm like, if we just got a show of, here's this one weird side character, like here's just a random stormtrooper we're following now. Here's this, whatever. That stuff is interesting to me. Or even, do a new character that's just like, this guy's a freaking, the guy who sets up the Wi-Fi in the offices, like whatever. But you know what I mean? Just like a random guy. What's his thing? You could do that one week and that's fun and cool. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, but also his brother is Oppo Rancisis. Isn't that crazy? Like it doesn't have to connect to everything always. I would be okay with that. So
that'd be brilliant. Have you been watching The Acolyte?
Yeah.
I
think it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's super fun.
That's the correct review of The Acolyte. Yeah.
I'm having a great time. And I wonder if part of the reason I'm having a great time is because it feels of its own. And also because it's leaning into like real intensity of connection.
Yeah.
As opposed, it's building, it makes you give a shit about the show because you care about these people and their relationships, not because it is like associated with any greater mythology or whatever it might be. So
I think it takes a lot for me to fully dislike a Star Wars thing at this point, especially if it's on my television or in my movie theater, like even the stuff I don't love, I can still tell you 9 things that I like about them,
such as
Babu Frick.
Babu Frick's great. I like Claude. I like, it's a lot of characters in that movie. I like Bulio. I like Hrothgar Dang. Like, there's a lot of cool visuals in that movie. We could keep going if you want.
Please.
I like her.
Time.
I like her saying her last name Skywalker. Who, frankly, can I swear on this?
Oh, yes. God, please.
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck cares? That's my thing. And I'm so sorry, Kenny. And I'm glad a thumbs up came next to your face. But none are coming next to ours when we do thumbs up and down.
I think we turned it off.
I don't
because it kept coming up in therapy.
Yes.
So turn that up.
I don't know. I there's a lot in that movie that I'm not crazy about, but I do think
what?
You
can't name a thing. Rise of Skywalker's bulletproof.
I wish.
Greatest Star Wars movie.
Here's my. Do you want to know my? I'm asking you again. I'm going to tell you my general note about Rise of Skywalker.
Wait, ask me.
Aspen, do you want to know my general note about Rise of Skywalker?
No.
Okay.
No, I would love to hear it.
Say the whole thing. Say the whole sentence. Ask me for it.
Could we hear what your complete mode is on Rise of Skywalker, please, Patrick Cotnoir?
I think it should be 30 minutes longer. I think it should be 30 minutes longer.
That's not a bad take.
That's not interesting. Yeah.
There are still fundamental problems with it, but that would more time would Yeah.
Those first 45 minutes of that movie feel like I'm on Adderall and I've never taken Adderall, you know?
It's a nightmare. I remember watching that at the 9 film screening in May.
Yeah.
And all 8 of the movies. I was just like, cool.
Yeah.
The audience there for the prequels is watching them exactly the same way, which is just kind of tongue in cheek, loving it, but also knowing that it's not great. Original series, appropriate reference. And then I'm watching Force Awakens, and I even turned around on Force Awakens. I like that movie now. Last Jedi, Stone Cold masterpiece, and then Rise of Skywalker. Within the first 5 minutes of that movie, I'm like, this is still gonna be a disaster.
I think I've softened on that movie a lot since 2019. When we saw it in 2019, we were on the train back, and I was very silent. I was very, very quiet. And since then, I think I've seen it enough that I'm like, I've come to appreciate the things that I like about it, and the rest I'm just like, whatever. But I'm also one of those people, I know there's a lot of people out there who will be like, you know, for example, people don't like the last season of Lost, and they'll just be like, well, that season didn't happen. That doesn't count in my brain. And I'm just like, yeah, but that's what happened. That's the story. Whatever. And that's sort of how I feel about Rise of Skywalker. It's just I don't know. That's what happened to those characters. We don't always like the things that happens to us. And that's how it is, you know? Yeah. I think my brain is easily forgivable in a lot of those things.
This is where fan fiction comes into play for me.
Sure.
Just write it in my own head.
Yeah.
I'm a segue.
Yes.
Speaking of films that perhaps weren't great upon first viewing for some people, but then have become favorites.
Mm-hmm.
You're a prequel boy.
I'm a prequel boy.
Obviously.
I'm a prequel boy.
I'm also a prequel boy. Yeah. Weirdly, wildly. And I've said this before, I saw Phantom Menace when I was 9.
Yeah, I was 7.
It was the first Star Wars film I had ever seen.
Yeah.
And I was
cool.
It was out of control. The stories that I done was like, Mother, take me to the Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And we just got all the tapes. I just watched them all in one day.
Amazing.
And I, to this day, I'm like, Phantom Menace, a masterpiece.
Yeah, it is. It is a masterpiece.
We swam through them again. I think Clone Wars makes me like them all a lot more.
Yeah.
Even Attack of the Clones, famously, people is their least favorite. We were watching it, and I was like, is this?
This movie kind of rules.
Yeah. Is this
movie
great?
rules? No. For a long time, when I was a kid, I said that was my favorite Star Wars movie.
Same.
Yeah.
And
I saw that movie 3 times in theaters, including once in IMAX.
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX too.
It's great.
What? So given that, so Bombad Jedi and the way you feel about Jar Jar or the way this informs that, do you love this because you love those? Or is it kind of like with me where I was like, wait, I think this is making those better once.
Oh, I mean, I definitely think it does make it better. I do love those, though. You know, I love Jar Jar. I'm very pro Jar Jar. I think he's funny. I think a lot of his jokes land, whether people want to. If you're there to laugh, I think they can be a very fun time. And I think, like, it's still Jar Jar in this show. You know, he's not doing anything different. But he's kind of a little more palatable sometimes. Yeah, he's goofing. He's being a goof.
Look, I don't like this episode, but Jar Jar is way more palatable in this episode.
Yeah.
Versus Phantom Menace. Hands down.
Do you not like this episode because it's silly?
No, I can do silly.
What don't you like about this episode?
What I don't like about this episode, number 1, it's bad. Number 2, it's not good. Number 3,
you're not good.
Well, good news, guys, because I brought Kevin Rubio here to talk about it. Come on in.
Kevin!
I wish it was either just an all silly episode.
Yeah.
Or give me the Padme thing and just maintain that tone.
Sure.
I think the tonal shifts are I can appreciate a good tonal shift. All right? I love the Matrix Resurrections.
Oh,
sure.
This is wild because I think that's why it actually is more palatable and works.
I disagree.
Well, here's what I'll say.
Tonal shifts do not work.
Kenny.
And I think that the Padme and the Jar Jar and C-3PO stuff, great dynamic.
Great.
That's great.
Buddies.
Yeah.
Buddies.
Kenny, here's what I'll say.
Kenny.
Aspen and I have seen this show.
Yes. And I have not.
I think the Padme stuff is maybe the weakest stuff on the whole. Just because it's a lot of politics stuff and it's very dry sometimes.
For people listening to the episode, Aspen just launched herself dolphin style to the wall.
I disagree.
Really
you
thrilling.
disagree. Okay. Well, let me finish what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think that's not saying I dislike them.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're by when you add them together, for me, they're the least interesting ones necessarily. And I think there's a lot of episodes where Padme shows up somewhere and she goes, "It's my favorite cousin." And the cousin's like, "Well, guess what? I have Wat Tambor here and he's going to arrest you." And I think that happens a lot on this show. So I think having that tonal shift makes this episode stand out from those other episodes in a way that I appreciate.
Oh, that is interesting. Okay, that in that way, for it, as it being like, we have an A and a B story.
Yeah.
And there is a balance here because, I think it's true. It can become very dry.
Yeah.
Without, I think, well-placed joy and goofiness. Yeah, because so Clone Wars makes Padme better because she gets more to do.
Yes. Yeah.
But she is often relegated. It's almost like she gets more to do in that way that it's like she's very competent and she's doing the work of the politics. Yeah, I guess what I do enjoy is anytime there is something in the politics of Clone Wars that shows that it's not necessarily a cut and dry conflict, that there could be reasons why other planets throughout the galaxy might actually go with the Separatists. Yeah. And like, what does it look like? What are the implications of this war that's like fucking everyone over?
I really adored Uncle Ono being like, "Sorry, I'd love to do it, but like the Separatists are promising us food."
Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what is it to like be like, well, I'm on the right side if everybody's dying. Yeah. Like, and I will say I did not think that the sort of like him, obviously at the end, we're going to be the good guys. But the sort of thing, it's like, they really should have helped you. Like, they really should have. Like, fuck the Republic right now.
Yeah.
So
one of the things I understand why they do this because it is a children's show. Okay.
What?
But something especially early in the early Clone Wars episodes is how a lot of episodes will end with like, "Well, we did it because we love you and we have to help out the good of the people." Like they're always like laying that, their thesis down so hard. And it definitely happens at the end of this episode where whoever has the last line basically like just repeats the thesis of the episode back to you. I do think it's funny that there's a lot of episodes in a children's show about them negotiating treaties. Or like, there's like there's like a Bail Organa Padme episode where they're like dealing with like taxes or something like that. I think it's fun.
Phantom Menace proved that you can talk about this stuff and kids will be like, "Cool."
Yeah. want to be clear. I don't dislike the Padme stuff. I just do think that it is probably more boring than the other stuff because there's no action going on primarily.
For the YouTube thumbnail, should I be like Patrick Cotnoir thinks that Padme is the stupidest Star Wars character ever? And then it's just like a little word bubble that says Padme's a soy boy.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do it, it'll probably get you more clicks.
I don't
Patrick,
do that. I'm
top female characters.
Oh, we love Ula, of course.
Oh, Ula, Slate Bikini Leia, that was pretty cool.
Ayla Sakura.
Ahsoka, but only when she's in that tube top.
Cool. Redeemed.
Thank you. Thank you.
I watched Bombad Jedi. Oh, Kenny. What's your deal?
What's my deal? Here's what my deal is. Number one, Aspen. I'm a buzzkill. I love to kill the buzz.
Okay, great.
Number two, I'm boring. I'm boring as hell. What I like to do is I like to sit on my blanket. That's how I relax. I just sit on a blanket.
Okay.
Number three, I don't like sunsets. They're just too colorful. That's what look. Here's what I was gonna say. It's number one, what I learned from the Filoni Zoni. George wanted a Jar Jar episode, and what was funny watching the behind the scenes is kind of watching Filoni and his cohort kind of be like, George wanted a Jar Jar episode, so we did our best. And maybe it's just me reading too much into it, but they're like, we really didn't want to do a Jar Jar episode, but the boss wanted us to do a Jar Jar episode. And then I gotta respect the hell out of them. Just like they let Jar Jar be Jar Jar.
Yes,
they didn't camp it out. It's a hell of a risky move whenever you are starting your 100 episode order of Clone Wars. And number 5 in the production order is Bombad Jedi.
Yeah.
They are boldly declaring we're not steering away from Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Jar Jar's here.
It's great.
Yeah. They don't soften him. You're right. He's still a mess. Though they do have more commentary directly about how he sucks.
Yeah.
5 characters.
Luckily, Filoni and team are better filmmakers than George is. And so they are able to pull off the comedy.
The eyes.
Sorry, but better filmmakers than George at this time.
I mean,
they pull off the comedy. The ship getting crushed.
It's very funny. It's very funny. It's very
What do you want from me?
Also very funny when he's just like, ooh, there's a button that still works. I think that was very funny. He like finds the one button that still, it's great. It's great.
So good. Yeah. He gives the big underwater slug creature a little kiss.
A little kiss. That's exactly the phrase I used for it when it happened. I said, "Oh, he's giving him a little kiss."
It's so cute. It's also, so nice.
C-3PO going up on that magnet and then falling off the magnet and then going back up. It's very funny.
Very funny.
Yeah.
There's things that happen in Clone Wars, and like this is an example of it where it's like a better version, maybe film wise, than what had happened in the prequels. It's like the same concept, but they do it just slightly better, and you're like, nice. Like, because that says to me, I'm like, yeah, Aspen, you like the concept. Like, you like the concept of them getting stuck in that droid factory. It just was a little weird. Like, whereas this time around, I'm like, perfect, no notes.
Yeah.
Happens a couple of times. Like, it happened in that episode where they're inside Grievous's ship, and it's like there's all the like inside trains, which we love trains, and we know Filoni loves trains, and it was a lot of like, 3PO is like stuck on one train. They're like, oh no, we have to go get him, and they're like jumping, and I'm like, it's like the droid factory, but like.
Did you guys know that he also loves wolves?
Dave Filoni loves wolves.
Yeah. Does his brother love wolves too?
Let's talk about this, Patrick. Here we go. I'm gonna play a sound effect real quick, talking about something because this is a controversial topic that we talk about regularly. Here we go. Hashtag Brotherwatch. Do you know Patrick Cotnoir? You do the George Lucas talk show. You live and breathe Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm so nervous for what's about to come.
What the hell is up with Dave Filoni's brother?
Oh, I don't know.
Exactly. No one knows.
No one knows.
Do I know anything about his brother? Why? I don't.
Okay, so
tell me about this.
You talked about buying the Art of Clone Wars Season 1 art book.
Yeah.
You are a die-hard Star Wars fan.
It's right over there. Yeah.
In multiple pieces of behind-the-scenes Clone Wars stuff on the Blu-ray, on your Digipack, that you and I have because we are good people.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dave Filoni talks about his brother giving him inspiration. Now, whenever you do a cursory search of this brother...
Yeah.
Well, wait, stop. He doesn't even just like talk about his brother giving an inspiration. He will actively refer to him frequently. Like, and it won't just be like, when I was younger, I liked trains. It'll be like, when we were younger, my brother and I loved trains. You're like, that's fine. But then he'll be like, my brother and I really loved this ship. My brother did this. And yeah. So then if you look him up, where's the brother?
There's nothing. There's not one picture of Dave Filoni bringing his brother to a Star Wars premiere, which if his brother's is an inspiration, where's this? I hope that something very bad didn't happen to his brother.
That's what I was just digging a hole. I was just going to bring this up.
Oh, no.
Maybe.
Kenny, we're terrible people.
What if we're terrible people?
Kenny, what if
I would say,
I don't like having this reaction this way.
I would say maybe pull this chunk from the episode.
I'm not going to pull this chunk from the episode. I think we got to...
I don't know is the answer. His parents and grandparents and an aunt or uncle's name is on IMDb. Very interesting. The person's name is Paul Edward Prizdalak, and it says aunt or uncle.
It could be either one.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm
Short
not
answer is
this.
Okay.
I think I'm going to double down on it and just look like a terrible person.
Put it in twice, I guess, then.
Yeah, this is the actual thumbnail. It's just like Aspen and Kenny make fun of dead brother.
Hold on, let me make like a YouTube appropriate face.
Oh no! Well, it's really good that we had a good person on this podcast.
Should we end the Brotherwatch segment?
Yeah,
let's take the Brotherwatch segment out.
Cool. Well, yeah, and to get into something even far less sketchy, for us to be talking about.
Sketchy about.
I think it is worth talking about. Recognizing that we're a group of white people,
of course,
because we're chatting about this a little bit. Of like, obviously, there's a lot of racial pieces that are involved in the discussion of Jar Jar.
Yes,
and the clarification to always make is that Ahmed Best was fantastic and didn't deserve any kind of bullshit that was thrown his way.
Yes.
And feels proud of this work that he did and should feel proud.
Yeah.
And also, like the kind of representation, the kind of thing that was presented by Lucas and by their writing, like, does like have like it seeps a little into these spaces of racist kind of what's minstrelry maybe, right? Yes. So, but I think both
Step
can be
and
true.
Fetch It is a huge inspiration to this character.
What is that?
Step and Fetch It, basically a minstrel caricature character.
Cool.
I believe you.
Who was, popular around George Lucas would be watching Step and Fetch It material whenever he's a kid and be inspired by that and think that that's hilarious and bring that kind of dynamic into it, along with, inspirations of Buster Keaton and other silent comedians that he says in the beginning.
Right.
Step and Fetch It did die in 1985, which means conceivably he could have seen the entire original trilogy in theaters. So,
wow.
Thank goodness.
Who knows?
Yeah. But I do feel fundamentally like the Clone Wars, I feel like starts to like undo a bit of that.
Yeah.
Obviously I am not the one who gets to say that, but in terms of like the representation, the softening.
Kenny is. Go ahead, Kenny.
Hello. I mean, Filoni making the Nemoidians sound more American whenever they're not Newt Gunray.
Yeah.
That helps be like, it's not, we're good. Everything's good.
Newt's a weirdo.
Yeah, he just talks like that. It's not weird. Don't worry.
It's sort of the obviously Yoda does not have the racial connotations that these other characters do, but the fact that Yaddle talks normal and Yoda doesn't where you're just like, I don't know, sometimes people talk differently.
That's so nice. People just like have weird voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you've got the synthesis
obviously.
of, we've got Newt Gunray in this episode, we've got
Yes.
Jar Jar in this episode, and then
Yes.
we've got the Rhodians, where, according to the behind the scenes, it's a synthesis of Middle Eastern, Thailand, and Vietnam vibes.
Vibes.
Sure.
Editor's note, I put vibes in there.
Okay, that would have been great though.
That would have been wild if the
Uh-huh.
production designer was like, we just want to give
Vibes.
just like some vibes. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of inspiration that they pull like of Earth, Earth culture. Like, it is kind of funny. I've always thought it was really hilarious that Twi'leks are French.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
what?
Twi'leks
yeah.
are French. They speak with French accents
Yeah.
when they're speaking English.
It's wild.
Okay.
Oh, in Rebels. I guess they are
yeah.
speaking
And
French.
Yes.
in
Rebels.
Clone Wars
And
too, though.
in Clone Wars.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but I'm just thinking about the fact that I've seen all of Rebels, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
are they?
Well, it's because when Hera goes back home and she like falls back into her accent, like
Yeah.
a la when I would visit
That's
my mother in
nice.
Florida, and then
Yeah.
suddenly I'm just like, well, you're just kind of like in a room full of rocking chairs and a kitty cat's tail, you know.
They should have.
I'm sorry, what?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Butterbeans, don't worry about it.
They should have special editioned Bib Fortuna's voice to be French.
Yes.
It's not too late. George is still alive.
Yeah.
Yes. Like that's the real change to me.
Here's a question for you two. Would you be okay if they were like, we're doing another special edition?
Hell yeah. Do it. I got the originals over here. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, our
George is not
mine and
involved.
our-
George is not involved.
Oh, no.
But we're like fixing up some of the CG. We're like making stuff cleaner. We're not adding or taking out anything, but like it just looks a little nicer.
Our biggest frustration with any of like the special editions isn't that they happen. Well, my biggest frustration is that stupid Jabba scene. But no, the real frustration is that they are done and then the others are so hard to find and that they were basically deleted because of someone deciding that he wanted full control over the thing. That's, you know, we have a someone who knows who. And like we have these, like we have access to those originals, but they're not that easy for everyone to get. That's the frustration.
Can I tell you both a secret?
Always.
Should we cut this?
I don't know if I've ever seen the non-special edition versions.
Patrick Cotnoir.
I don't think I have. I know.
Well, that's going to be the thumbnail.
That's fine. Do it.
Big secret reveal.
Big secret revealed.
Yeah.
You've done 4,000 hours of the George Lucas talk show, and you bought the Art of Clone Wars, and you've never seen the original theatrical version.
I keep meaning to buy despecialized copies, but they keep coming out with new versions of it, and I'm like, well, when is this going to stop? When do I buy the copy? You know what I mean?
You gotta don't go with the despecialized versions. You gotta go with the 4K scan, the scan of the 35 millimeter print. It looks, it is far and away the best transfer of anything that I own.
Yeah.
Period.
Kenny, did you share this with me? You shared these with me. That's how I
along
watched them,
with
right?
the theatrical version of the Phantom Menace, and I think the Phantom Edit and Attack, Attack of the Editor or Attack of Phantom.
Patrick, if you want it, it's not physical media, but
then I don't know
if you just want to. If you just, you can like rip it. You can burn a CD.
Yeah, sure.
To go back to your question, would I want a subsequent special edition? I wouldn't want one from Disney because that would be the wonderful thing about the special editions, which is a wild thing that I never thought that I would say, is the vanity that's involved. It's further every single change that is made. Some of them I kind of understand, but others I'm just like, what, why? And then there's the conspiracy theory that it's to cut Marshall Lucas out. And I'm just like, if you wanted to cut Marshall Lucas out, then why didn't he just stop at the 1997 versions there?
That's interesting. I've never thought about that part, but that is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why continually go back and then like add such famous things as? Why do that?
I wonder.
Not only that, Patrick, are you familiar with the Star Wars Revisited project?
I'm sort of obsessed with it.
Are you familiar with this, Aspen?
No.
I've never watched them, but yes, I would love to explain it to you. I believe it's swrevisited.com. I think that's the website for it. I've, again, never watched these, but I will spend so long just going through and reading this website. And it's a guy who's trying to make everything coherent. So it's like, oh, you know, the I don't even know, like the screens look different from here to here. So we've changed the color of the green that's on this one screen that's not on another screen. Or like we're updating this so it looks the same as it does in Phantom Menace as it does in Revenge of the Sith because it's the same place, but it's a different time and they made it look different. Like it's the silliest things, but I'm just so curious to see what it looks like. I've seen some little clips from it and some of them look good and some of them don't look that great.
But he fixed the Emperor and made the Ian McDiarmid footage match the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
While also providing a new hood, and it looks great.
Yeah.
And then simultaneously, there are weird stuff like R2D2, because I have watched it.
Yeah.
R2D2 in episode 4, he inserts the red and blue there, but it just wasn't there, and so it looks rough and I can't watch it.
Yeah.
And then there's also cute stuff like he throws in a battle droid in the junkyard or in the sand crawler, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
But it also gets as granular as like these Aspen. It gets as granular as these star fields don't match.
Yeah.
So we are going to go match the star fields, which is
some Neil deGrasse Tyson shit.
Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah.
He could also just like go to therapy, but he doesn't. You know, like that would probably help a lot of this.
Everyone needs a hobby.
Everyone needs a hobby, and some of them, this one's very specific. He's like recolor grading everything and he's just like doing it all, and it's impressive. Yeah. It's very impressive, and I am excited to like see them once they're all done. Yeah.
Also, like stuff like, sorry, Aspen, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna go off topic.
Well,
you we're going to talk about swrevisited.wordpress.com. You didn't want to talk about that anymore?
Shave a show. Kidding.
This goes back to your question of would you watch a special edition? And it's whenever the special editions came out and Star Wars fans were like, no, this is not my Star Wars. And this only builds the cult of Star Wars to where there's this weird ownership with Star Wars in a way that, unlike other big, giant, massive properties, where you have fan films, you got all of these things that are trying to remix the mythology. And then you also have this weird subculture of Star Wars fans being like, how do we get the most original version of Star Wars? And there's a weird new kind of ownership with Star Wars in a way like Star Trek fans love Star Wars, or Star Trek fans love Star Wars.
They do.
Great statement. But Star Trek fans can also access all of their material legally pretty easily. And so
those Blu-rays have the special editions, but they also have the normal ones, right? For Star Trek?
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yes.
Yeah.
And whenever they did the next generation high definition master, they tried to stick to things as close as possible, but also you can go get the DVDs of the original masters pretty darn easily.
Yeah.
So it's not like those things are not original, as opposed to Star Wars, where it's just this weird ownership and this weird constant dialogue with Star Wars sucks, but also I worship at the altar of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah,
I guess Star Wars. I think talking about Star Wars is interesting.
I think it's fun. I guess the question I always come back to is like, to what end? Like, what's the objective of the thing?
100%.
Like, and if it would be, let's just clean it up a little bit, do some good color grading, lighten it up if it's too dark, like that kind of thing. I'm in. Like, that sounds cool. But if it is for like some kind of strange, like more vanity project, if it's to try to exert a power in a weird kind of way, I don't really.
Well, I mean, that's also my thing where I'm like, I want to watch those, for example, these specialized ones, but then he keeps putting out new versions. And I'm just like, is this ever going to end? Like, you're just going to go back to New Hope and just start on New Hope again. Then like, why am I doing this now?
Yeah. It feels very frustrating. It feels, have you ever heard of eyebrow blindness?
No.
So back. I think it's like happening now with like, it's like lip filler blindness too. Like eyebrow blindness is where people would start to, they tweeze their eyebrows and then they become used to how like the size of their eyebrows, and then they tweeze it more, and then they just keep tweezing, and that's how you get to like really thin. Or now it's like lip fillers, like you get used to your lips being fillers, so you put too much in, and it's like that, but for the special editions of Star Wars.
Sure.
Eyebrow blindness special editions.
Really funny. That's really funny.
To bring it to the central conceit of the podcast.
Oh, welcome.
Of comparing and contrasting Star Trek and Star Wars.
Should we start again?
And
yeah, I think we should start. We said a lot of stuff that I feel
the
weird
one
about.
podcast that dares to ask the question, which is better, Star Trek or Star Wars? But you're talking about eyebrow blindness, and George Lucas and Gene Roddenberry both become two creators that are too close to the material.
Right.
And their personal legacies are built on these things.
Yeah.
George Lucas can't really ever recapture the creative magic that he did in the theatrical, well, specifically with 77 Star Wars, but also the things that he produces outside of Indiana Jones. Although Patrick might disagree, he might just be the biggest fan of strange magic.
I mean, I'm not a small fan. Do I have a framed poster in the closet over there? Yeah, of course I do. Is it a UK quad poster? Of course it is.
But similarly, they like at some point they fundamentally misunderstand what the heck made those things special and go off on these wild tangents that are only for a casual viewer. They're like, what happened to the thing that I like? But then from the metatextual level, you're like, these people are unhinged. I'm so excited for Aspen to get to the Next Generation episode Code of Honor, where you will be like, Gene Roddenberry has missed the point. So too with Georgie Boy.
I mean,
coming along with Phantom Menace and just kind of being like, this is his version of Star Wars, but fans are just like, and then Filoni comes, and then also the fun thing about watching these properties is whenever people from the outside come along and are like, I think I might understand the source material just a little bit better than you.
Kenny,
and then
I'm so excited for you,
rich.
Kenny, to get to A Sunny Day in the Void, just because I can't wait to see what your take is on that one. Either people's favorite or least favorite episode of Clone Wars.
Oh, God.
I'll probably like it then.
Yeah. Real iconoclast over here.
Again, I love Matrix Resurrections. I think it's a stone cold masterpiece, and I bet that everyone's going to be with me soon.
This is so funny. I forgot what it was called. I just call it the Droids episodes.
Here we go, Kenny. Here we go,
maybe
Kenny.
I'll like them more. Maybe I'll like them more this time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They're George's favorite episodes, Kenny.
Of course they are.
Aspen,
yeah.
What else do you like?
Like sunny days.
Voids?
Voids. I like. You can just play it.
A long time ago, start date this week. I courted a beau, I dated a geek, but none of them could warp my drive into hyperspace. The best of both worlds kept me in second place. Captain's log on a holocron. I wanted a snog, I penned a song. 17 more minutes of thighs in super high def. Aboard the USS Enterprise, DTF. Don't you take my Ewok glider and clip it. Don't you take my red shirt buddy and nip it. If you spill the tea, I'm gonna sip it. I starship it.
Aspen, what the heck are we doing right now?
We're going to determine from either property your favorite starship that flies through the sky or vehicle It depends, because we did do a lot of Ewoks where there were not any starships. Again, you can just pick either one, and also your favorite romantic ship. Your ship in the stars. Yeah.
Now these are in these particular episodes that we watched, or this is anything?
So it is typically in these particular episodes.
Yeah.
So if you do have something, but also because you're a guest, you can also pick from anything if you'd like to. Well,
okay.
Yeah. If the constraints help you.
I mean, look, we're talking about how good of a couple our C-3PO and Jar Jar are.
Yes. Actually, yeah, let's start with the romantic ship. Yes. Sorry. It's beautiful.
Could be fun.
Could be nice.
Could be nice. They don't have much interaction in those movies, right?
No.
It is a surprisingly unexpected, but watching this, I'm like, oh, of course.
Of course.
This absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
3PO and Jar Jar. And 3PO having an oddly cool head in comparison to Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Could be for Jar Jar possibly being a frantic bottom. And 3PO.
I like to call it the black cat and like little fluffy puppy dog like dynamic, and this 3PO is like the kind of sticky cat, and Jar Jar is the fluffy dog.
Yeah.
So and that's just like a nice dynamic, you know. Some people have that with their partners.
Aspen, it feels like your bones are trying to escape your skin whenever you say that.
Guess which one I am. So there's that. Cool. That's a good one. I like that.
And I mean, as far as ships go, the ship in the
Patrick,
Star Trek episode.
I'm gonna have to hold tight for you. We gotta go down. We got a shape of show. We got a shape of show.
We didn't explain this to you.
We didn't explain this to you, Patrick.
It's our fault.
But you are crossing a line.
We have to go one at a time.
We have to go.
Then we'll come back to you, and you got.
Then we will come back, and you can say your favorite spaceship,
and then we can do.
That's what will happen. That's the shape of show.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Would you want to go?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be Jar Jar and that big honking fish.
Oh, the slugfish thing. We do love it.
You do love it, and not only that, the relationship, much like McCoy and the Queen, forms very quickly, and it's a firm bond. And then the big honking fish is willing to do terrorism on behalf of Jar Jar, which is great.
Yeah,
you want to be able to have a partner that is willing to do terrorism for you.
That's good. That's the other classic rom-com pairing.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Mine is boring, but I think important, and it is the McCoy and Priestess.
Shoo, boring.
It is boring. That is pretty boring.
Yeah, it's canon, but you know what? We talked about his little smirk.
You're right. He had the little horny smirk.
I'm just like, he doesn't really get to be a little horny boy.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't. And I like this opportunity for him. I have shipped him with many people. And I am glad to ship him canonically with someone who is like, says weird shit like, yeah, we don't know each other, but isn't that what it's about? We get together and then we figure classically how relationships work. She's just a hottie.
He's very gentle with Natira as well, which
is so good.
It's just really lovely to watch.
It's so good. It's boring, but it's so good.
It's so good. Look,
what can we say?
Sometimes you're in the mood for a flavorless ice cream cone. Sometimes you're just like, I can't wait to have these textures. All right.
Okay, counterpoint, vanilla, an actual like a very dynamic flavor.
I said vanilla.
I said flavorless ice cream cone. I did not say vanilla. I enjoy the taste of vanilla. I said flavorless.
This is like, we're getting into it now.
Wow.
There's like some real.
This is what happens an hour and 40 minutes into a podcast.
Yeah, right. Everyone's just like, I didn't fucking say that. Excuse me.
Patrick, what's it like to do a shorter show compared to George Lucas?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, look, I don't know that it's a shorter show. You know what I mean? As of now, it could be the same length.
I don't think that we're going to reach those heights.
I don't think so either.
And if we did, I think Aspen would shoot me from Los Angeles.
Yes.
Well, Patrick's got to go, and I got to go back
It's true.
to work.
Patrick does have to be across town in 40 minutes, but he's stretching this as close as he can, so it's great.
Oh,
Excellent.
God.
No, I'm not saying rush. We're doing great.
No. I did just recently experience I went to UCLA for a film screening. It was on a Saturday, and someone literally was like, they were like, "You went to Westwood?" And I was like, "I get it now. I get it. I got you." I was like, "It wasn't bad. I don't know. I mean, it was, but not. I'd expected it.
You're doing it.
It's fine.
You're doing LA.
Fine.
Yeah,
I'm doing it. Yeah. Okay. What is your spaceship that flies with this guy / vehicle of choice?
I mean, I think that ship that's in that asteroid's pretty cool. It's a good idea, but also it's probably a bad idea because if you're flying through the sky and you're like, "Hey, boss, there's an asteroid coming. We should probably shoot it to get it out of the way."
Yes.
You know, makes it a bad idea.
Yes.
I also like that ship that falls apart, but then the buttons still work. So, you know what? I'm actually going to go with the ship that falls apart, but the buttons still work.
That's also a good choice. We do love a Naboo cruiser, but this specific one.
Yeah.
That's got to be the canonical reason of why Padme has a different ship in episode 3, because Jar Jar crippled
Can I tell you something?
Cruiser from episode 2.
Again,
always
play the damn music.
Always.
My girlfriend watching this episode goes, "Oh, that's why she has a different ship." And I said, "What are you talking about?"
Girlfriend.
Yeah,
girlfriend.
She got it.
I actually think, though, that this is maybe like the second time one of her ships has been destroyed. So because it got blown up. I think she just has a huge fleet of them and they all get destroyed. And that's what we end up in the third one. Yes. This is a good choice. It's a beautiful ship. We're in love with Naboo Star Cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
We're
so
like obsessed.
So shiny.
When I was little, I got one of those like McDonald's toys where it's like it could like balance on your finger.
Oh yeah.
The little thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it wouldn't have been McDonald's. It would have been a KFC Taco Bell pizza.
Oh, you're right. Because that's where I collected all the Pogs from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. And all the Pepsi cans.
Uh-huh.
Cool. Kenny, what's yours?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
Wow. Oh, wait. Oh, thank goodness, because Patrick didn't choose it. Ship in the asteroid.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay.
Woo! Yeah. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. Okay, to like become a more interesting person.
I'm so sorry. Ships in the civilizations within a planet. Very new and novel idea that they were pulling from Robert Heinlein. Aspen.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that great? Didn't I do the research, Aspen? I'm such a good and clever boy.
Oh my God, you're so good. You know, technically, that asteroid worm in Empire is kind of like that ship.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great
just
point.
like a century, like a generation ship moving through space. That worm has been around for ages.
And there's
all
Minox
the life
inside.
There's all the Minox.
Yeah.
They've been there for thousands of years.
Yeah, we don't know how old those Minox are.
There's a Dairy Queen.
It sounds like Star Wars, and this is very familiar as a Dairy Queen. Yeah. Mine is the slug water creature, because he is a vehicle.
Yeah.
Slug water creature getting a lot of representation.
Yes.
He's a big part of that episode.
Well,
literally.
literally.
You got a little quiche.
Yeah.
A little quiche.
They do leave him out of the water for a very long time, and I was getting very nervous about that.
Very anxious. Very anxious. No, he's a beautiful baby boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's a beautiful tool.
Yeah.
Tool to beat the bad dudes.
Yeah.
So fantastic. Beautiful. Look at us. Look at us.
Aspen, I appreciate your jovial attitude and general just mode of friendship that you're presenting towards Patrick, but that's not the point of the podcast.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not to be nice to people.
Knock it off. Knock it off. We're here to answer the one question, the most important question.
I came on I thought everyone was going to be nice to me.
No, this is where the hammer meets the nail.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Because knock it off. Art is a binary. It can either only be good or bad. And that's why we're going to answer the question, which is better, Star Trek or Star Wars, by ranking from 0 to 10, both For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky versus Bombad Jedi.
0 to 10.
0
to 10.
Yeah. So we can go first, you can see, but like you trust your heart. You feel whatever it is in your heart.
I
but you can do granular shit. You do granular shit.
I know what I'm going to say. I'm okay.
Nice. Nice.
Go ahead.
It's just I spent months being so anxious about this part of this podcast. I was like, when am I gonna get it wrong? And now I still feel that way, but I'm cooler about it.
Yeah.
No one decides if I'm wrong or right.
Yeah.
Except me. Okay. Yeah. Which one do you want to start with, Kenny? You look so serious over there. I'll go first.
I'm messing with my spreadsheet, dude. It's bad.
Wow.
It's bad. It's bad air.
Wow.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
start
with
perfect.
But for the world is vast. For the world is big, fast, and I poke it. Is that what we're starting with?
For the world is a big mass and Aspen pokes it. Aspen, what do you rank this episode?
I'm gonna give it like a.
Love this dude.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
good dude.
I really like. I get to like the McCoy stuff, and I think that actually ups it for me. And there's nothing I particularly hated that I want to spite rank by
Sure.
any means.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna give it like a little 6.1.
6.1. Very respectable 6.1,
Yeah.
considering that all of us were kind of like, eh, on the
I
episode.
mean, it was fine, which
Fine.
is, I guess,
Well is not necessarily a demarcation quality.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like, eh.
yeah. It goes up from a 5 something to a 6 because of
It could
McCoy.
be
Sure.
It could be like you've got peanut butter on the roof of your mouth and you want to taste it and you go, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like a little pop-up. Like a little pop-up. Dust me.
I think I'm going to give For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky a robust 6
Wow.
Okay.
because Patrick kind of described it. This episode is like other episodes. The only
Yeah.
thing that really does make it stand out is watching McCoy being sincere. And
Oh,
I
and
think that
horny.
also requires context of who the heck Dr. McCoy is. So I'm
Sure.
not sure how that
Yeah.
works. Also, this is the second episode of this season. The Paradise Syndrome being one of them, where they are like, there's a ticking clock. There's going to be an asteroid crash in 396 days.
Mhm.
What? Why? Why have that? Why have that? What does that mean? You don't need that.
Mhm.
It's also, there's like no stakes to it.
No.
300.
McCoy's going to die in a year.
And also, he just is fine. I love
Yeah.
that he's just like, we figured it out.
This episode happens over the course of 48 hours, 72 hours. But for some reason, there are 2 ticking clocks that are thrown way in the future.
Remarkable.
It doesn't make sense in terms of just basic drama.
Drama.
Patrick, do you have any opinions about this episode?
Yeah, I mean, the craziest thing is when you said we were going to rank it, I had a number in my head and I said, I'll probably change it. Like when they're describing it, like maybe it'll go up or down depending on what they say. Shockingly, I'm leaving it this because I think it's funny that I'm the highest of the 3.
Appreciate that.
The number I said in my brain was 6.2.
Hey, yeah, you love
6
it.
is 6.1.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like
That averages out For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky into 6.1, but it's still anybody's game as we go over
In the
to
middle of the
Bombad
curve.
Jedi. Aspen, what the heck do you rank this one?
Okay, Kenny.
My name?
Kenny,
Yeah.
Kendall.
What's up, boss?
Let me think.
You go.
I had a great time.
That's great. I'm
I had a
glad.
great time. Feels like it's in the
Wonderful.
7 range.
7 range.
7 range. 7.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed it. I had a
Me
really
too.
good time. Ooh.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give this one a little bit of a 7.4.
A little bit of a 7.4.
Okay. So you have to like feel it in your soul, you know?
Yeah.
You love to see it.
It's
Can you go home?
fair.
I think I'm going to give this one a 6.1.
What? I think
Wow.
we're gonna give it so much lower.
I do think that this is a bad episode,
Wow.
but also I'm just thinking about this and I'm going, which one would I rather watch? Would I rather watch this 22-minute atonal mess that has interesting things to kind of say about George Lucas and the Clone Wars and the mess, the weirdness of it? Or would I rather watch this Milk of Toast episode than I could watch a better Star Trek episode? And also that one's 50 minutes versus 22 minutes.
It's
There's
a lot.
lot happening. And
But nothing at all, truly.
other stuff happens. We see Anakin's Jedi robe.
No,
away.
I mean, in the Star
Yeah.
Trek one, nothing happens.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot happens about
Yeah,
the
so
Jedi.
much happens about Jedi.
What's great about For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky is that you could watch the first 10 minutes, take a little tasty nap,
Yeah.
and then wake up and you're like, I know exactly what the status quo is.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Speaking of the status quo, Patrick, you could completely disrupt the status quo.
Yeah, which
And
I'm
this
going to,
final
and you
ranking.
know I'm going to.
It
Yeah.
could be anyone's game.
Yeah.
The tension is palpable.
Yeah, I mean, I just want Bombad Jedi to have a good score, so I'm going to say 8.3.
Yes. This is what people should be doing.
Yeah.
They should be like, you know what?
Fight
I
for the-
want it to fucking win.
Look, what is it? Fight for the ones you love, not take down the ones you hate, whatever the frick that Rose Tico thing is, whatever she says.
Rostico, Rostico.
when fighting for the ones we love,
Yeah.
not fighting against the ones we hate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
that's right.
We did it.
Well, speaking of fighting for the ones that you love, Bombad Jedi wins the week with a robust 7.27 versus the For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Skies paltry 6.1. You do love to see it.
We love to see it. I would say this is a victory. A victory for those who deserve it. The good people. The good people.
Good people of Rhodia.
Of Veronia.
Speaking of the good people, Patrick,
Yeah.
what the heck do you have to plug?
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
too many
God.
things. Too many things.
Oh
Great.
my God.
George Luke's talk
And you gotta
show.
be across town.
We'll start with that. I do in 27 minutes, and I need to take a shower. George Lucas talk show. It's a talk show hosted by comedian Connor Ratliff. He plays George Lucas. Comedian Griffin Newman plays Watto as his sidekick. I'm on there. I'm their on-screen producer. We interview real people, treat it like a normal talk show. Insane famous people have been on. Whoopi Goldberg, Seth Meyers, Weird Al, Darcy Carden, Rachel Zegler, Ahmed Best. Our good buddy Ahmed Best from this episode.
Your actual friend.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd say that, but yeah, acquaintance. We've met. You can find them all on YouTube. Find a guest that you like and then just watch that way. There's a documentary about the show and about Connor out right now. It's called I'm George Lucas, a Connor Ratliff Story. It's on VOD. It just got announced that it's going to be on Apple, iTunes and all the other VOD platforms on August
Wonderful.
20th. But you can watch it now if you would like to. Hopefully also a Blu-ray coming, working on that.
What's the way that if we rented it, y'all would get the most money?
It's a great question. I don't know. If you go to imgeorgelucas.com, it's up there. I would say maybe the way it is now, but it's not the most convenient way that you'll be able to watch it. So I would personally wait for it to be on iTunes or Amazon or whatever those things are.
Do you just want us to send you money?
You
Yeah,
want us to send
I'll-
you money, Patrick?
You just want us to.
Here's what I'll also say.
Amazing.
None of the money's going to me personally. So
Oh,
if you
so
want
we
to
should
send me
Venmo you.
money, yeah, 100%.
Just search for you on Venmo or PayPal.
Yeah. You'll find me.
Yeah.
Very available. I'm very out there. Also in May, we did a live read of The Phantom Menace at Dynasty Typewriter.
I'm gonna be at the next one.
Great. I was
I got
going to tell
tickets.
you to do it. Great. Called the Naboo movie. It was insane. Haley Joel Osment played Anakin. Tony Hale was Qui-Gon. Bobby Moynihan did full SNL style makeup as Darth Maul. It's truly bananas. If you go to naboomovie.com, it'll show up. It's on YouTube. You can watch it there for free. When does this come out?
This Friday.
This Friday? Great. August 10th at Dynasty Typewriter.
Well, next Friday.
Great. Still doesn't matter. August 10th at Dynasty Typewriter. We're doing The Great Camino Caper, which is our live reading of Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. A lot of the cast is coming back, but some truly insane people will be also there, including someone from the movie reprising their role, which will probably be announced at this point, but I'm going to wait until then to say it. But you can live stream it, or you can come in person if you're in the LA area.
Aspen.
Buy a live stream ticket. It's very helpful. So it's helpful. And, on Twitter, Patrick Cotnoir, on Instagram, Cotnoir, websites, patrickcotnoir.com. It's all over the place.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
Aspen, you got
Yeah.
anything to plug?
No.
Okie dokie.
I'm just hanging out. I'm just
Cool. Then I will plug my personal Venmo and PayPal. Just look up the Kenny Madison on Venmo or PayPal. Just send me some money. Why not? We're doing it. But if you'd rather go give your money to something else, why not hop over to our Patreon, patreon.com/TrekWarsPod, where for $5 a month, you can get early versions of these episodes and extended versions of these episodes. But
you're not cutting this one down at all, correct?
We're actually going to be adding 20 minutes.
Okay. Hey, it would have fixed Rise of Skywalker. Maybe it would have fixed this episode.
Exactly. I think this is a dynamite episode.
No, it's great. I'm joking, obviously.
Kenny, does Patrick like it?
I don't know.
Kenny, does Patrick like it?
I'll tell you after we finish recording.
Thank you.
No, Kenny.
You know who does like us? Our patrons, such as Timbo DeSosa, Emily Brycelove, Heidi Rogers, Kevin Miller, Arizona Mark, Austin Aaron, and lastly, but certainly not leastly, Joel T. Partner, who composed the iStarship theme song. Our theme song, in general, was composed by Mr. Tosin Awofeso. Please go down to the show notes, click on his profile, and go check out more of his musicality. And again, just want to reiterate, find my name on Venmo or PayPal. Just send me loose money. I will not reject it. Charity is appreciated. Patrick, we cannot thank you enough for
had a great time.
This much of your time.
Yeah,
I like you both.
Oh my God, keep it in. Yes.
Aspen, I like you.
I like you. I love you even.
I love you too, Aspen. And listeners, we love you.
No one said if they liked me.
Oh, Patrick, we really like you, Patrick.
We wanted to continue the dynamic.
Patrick, oh my God, we really like you.
We really enjoy you. Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you.